And that's the problem with our society. It's too many people that are trying to teach and are not teaching you how to be studious in your own teachings that you always knew. When it comes down to being in an operation suit, you gotta understand that we are basically biological shells that are enhancing, or we have enslaved our own consciousness to a bunch of beings that produce false light into the light that we are bearing through enlightenment, when enlightenment still can't bear this light that they are at their peak in. So because they're peaking into their consciousness, all they are basically doing now is housing our consciousness into the physical. So because they house our consciousness into the physical, that's now how we're able to be stuck in these bodies that are like houses for our consciousness, but yet this does not belong to you. That's the thing right there. It's a gift that you have to be skillful in. Being skillful in this mind, or this mindset of consciousness, is the reason how you are able to be aware of the unawareness amongst society. And that goes as far as on social media or even in real life as well. So for example, when you become living in your nature, as you're living in your nature and you leave your body, you're not able to understand how you're able to be inside of the suit. Because the thing is, people are being in the suit, but they're not aware of themselves being in the meat suit, or this body that we call a shell, or the human perception that isn't real to reality. So when you're teaching the being of the meat suit what they are outside of the organic living system of an ecosystem that they are still healing themselves into unconsciously, you'll now be able to tell them and teach them about their ways of living when they're aware of their nature. When you're aware of your nature, you start loving yourself more than the hatred that you were built to lie in through your consciousness that houses the body that you think you're awake in, but you're still sleeping in your observation, because you are the observer observing yourself in the body, but you're not the body when you leave the body. And you have an NDE, a near-death experience, and you're able to have an OBE as well, outer body experience combined together. When you do that, you'll be able to transcend consciousness outside of the suit that you are wearing every single day. So even when you go to school, even when you go out into public, you're going to go grocery shopping, you go to the mall, whatever, or even playing the game, whatever, people have a certain personality to follow every single day, to maybe even please you, to please themselves, to seek validation, to want attention for themselves, to thrive off of negativity or positivity. They're looking to attract something upon their suit, because we're all magnets when you leave the suit that you think you're wearing. So because the suit is the antenna, that's exactly why too, as you're used to it. So for example, a skin suit or shell that's used since our body is the outfit consciousness wears. So you wear the skin, but you're not the skin or the being in the skin. You wear the skin, but you're not the being in the skin. That's exactly why when you're wearing it, you now understand that consciousness enters the womb and not the flesh, because our awareness isn't born when it's our perception entering matter. So matter, and once again, this is also false light bearing. Because once again, they understood that if we can get their consciousness into a false sense of perception, because perception is reality, so we can get them into that realm of what they think they know, then they won't know what they never knew, because what they never knew isn't actually what they think they know, because they don't know anything. We taught them what they think they know, and because we were taught to not question God or whatever, they're teaching you now to not question yourself, but you already knew the answer spiritually, so you never needed to answer anybody with the sound to make, because sound makes you more ignorant. That's exactly why when you enter the womb, you're not in the flesh. When you enter the womb, you're not in the flesh anymore. Because remember, they taught us that we were supposed to be beings in the flesh. We eat, we drink, we piss, we shit, we talk, we laugh, we sleep, we are entertained, we play sports, we do music. There's so many different things that we do, but yet we're not doing them. It's your thoughts causing you to put the physical into doing what you think you're doing. But what are you really doing for real? What are you doing for yourself if you're not doing anything for yourself but observing your lifestyle that you think you're living in? That's exactly why when you're able to awaken your DNA, and we will call it junk DNA, but your junk DNA, when that activates, you now are able to transmit energies through the antenna of your higher self for your higher vibration. Because now when you're vibrating, so the thing is, when you start thinking better, you feel better, you sleep better, you rest better, you talk better, you're able to do your actions better, your choices better, you stop lying to yourself, you become more truthful, you become more honest, and you're just an honest citizen. Now you'll be able to vibrate higher. And then when you do that, everything that you do will always be at a positive alignment. So now you'll be able to relay frequencies to you from your higher self. because your higher self will want to do better for yourself because you see yourself doing better for yourself every single day. So why would you want to sit in your misery when you know that you don't have any company to sit there and hear your thoughts out? Nobody wants to hear your thoughts out because everybody else has problems of their own. So what do? You sit with yourself in nature, you stay grounded, you practice humility, and you talk to yourself and you see what's wrong with you, because nobody knows what's going on in your mind besides your mindset, because you set your mind on those thoughts that you think you're practicing, but you are not practicing those thoughts, but you're emulating them and you're reacting to them from data processing in your mind or your sensory input. So for the next one, your organs. So your organs, this is a key point right here, because people treat their bodies like trash cans. That's a problem right there. When you treat your body like a trash can, then how can you think better for yourself? How can you think healthy when you treat your body like shit? It's hard to wake up every single day and drink water, and you can put lemons in there, you can put any type of ingredient in there to transition what you think your taste buds are tasting, but you can't taste anything for real. But it's your mind being conditioned to what you think you're tasting. So when you're going through the energetic processor, each organ will transmute info spiritually into reacting emotionally. So even for your heart, or even for your intuition or your gut, whenever somebody says, hey, let's go out real quick to this club or this party, whatever, let's go out to this function or this event, you may have this negative feeling of staying home or whatever. So let's say you do stay home. All of a sudden, somebody that you know may have went to that, or they may have posted on social media, and now you sitting there looking at the news happening, or you're looking at this little propaganda happening, because it's all just acting in a certain Freemasonic play anyway. So when you watch it and you're scrolling, you talking to yourself like, damn, if I would have went, I could have gotten shot, I could have gotten jumped, I could have gotten into an altercation that I didn't have any business being in, I could have got grazed by a bullet, I could have got stuck into a situation that could have got me fucked up because I made the wrong choice. So me staying at home saved me from being in that situation that never needed to be caused in the first place, because what was the effect? Fragile egos. And that's exactly how you're able to now energetically process information that never came from you. Because remember too, it's not just you in the world. There are other beings living their unconscious lifestyle. But when you're conscious of your lifestyle now, the way you feel about your body, you'll be able to see the energies that are living in a certain way that can't be present, because they can't sit with themselves. So they have to go outside themselves to seek what they're searching for. And that's basically nothing but their higher self. So that's exactly why too, each organ will transmute info spiritually, because now it's a conscious thing, because spiritually you can't see the information, but you can feel it, you can speak on it, you can think about that. Not only just that, when you're able to observe it, you study it, and you're mentored by it, now you're guiding yourself by the exact same information that you can get from being outside in your own nature. That you have to learn to love, though, by the way, because you can't demonize yourself and then expect to learn something about life. No, you demonize what you always been, and yet when somebody tells you about your nature, you don't understand what your nature has always been, and a satanic version of what you think physicality is heavenly in, and heaven is still going to be a hell-like illusion, because you want to find perfection in a craft that you aren't aware of, in your own delusion that you can't find the illusion in. Crazy. Our spine is an energy tower, meaning that from your lowest way. So this conduit conducts your crown gateway. Now the crown will be called heaven, for example, but heaven does not know how heavenly it never was, because if you even make it to heaven, you still will find hell in that illusion of what heaven thinks is heavenly in. And if you still are living in hell mentally, because for one, the mental part of hell will be your lower self. So two, the root gateway, and the root gateway is going to be like the earth, or basically what you're standing on, what you're walking on, what you're doing whatever on. That's your lower way of losing yourself, because you're too infatuated, you're too distracted, you're too focused on things outside of your vessel, outside of your suit. But the thing is though, everything is the illusion of what you're not being aware of in the skin suit that you think you're shifting your mind in. When you are conscious of the mind and you start guiding it like a 5-year-old child, now you're able to sit there and teach yourself the things that don't matter physically, because everything in this physical illusion cannot benefit you in any shape or form. All you can do in this life is transcend your thoughts into the highest positivity for you to align with consciously without saying a word. Because when you get up in the higher realms, there is no God, I should have did this, Almighty, I should have been, no. There is no talking. All you have is your truth that makes no noise. That's always going to be documented. Your higher self is documenting you right now. That's exactly why they do block the skies. They do plague what we got going on in our mindset, because we are still in smoke and mirrors. Smoke and mirrors for the inner apprentice realm for Freemasonry, that teaches you that even though you do sell out your morality, even if you don't know about it, they're teaching you that even though you think you know about enlightenment, you still can't reach that peak of what enlightenment can't even see within itself. The next one, our eyes are the windows to projection screening. Everything that our eyes see is not even real to reality because our eyes don't know what they've been lied to about. That's exactly why when you're able to obtain the higher awareness to the window of your solar awareness, you can start seeing clearly than what the clear observation is not being seen in just yet. So humanity wakes up from what they can't even see. Because we were born not being able to see. So what do we see for real? Besides a bunch of lies that we found truth in. So, excuse me. You can't see your life until you notice the broadcasting system of light being decoded from your higher knowing. Your higher knowing knows that this whole realm does not exist to us. That's exactly why when you're able to understand how to escape this gateway right here, you stop living in it and you always reside by disconnection. Because to get to that realm right there, you have to be connected to it. And that means, for example, so even to be up in here, that means going out, getting some sun for yourself, because I'm basically eating my own downloads to where I'm just sweating it out. So I'm finna go and hit the gym. That's another way to connect with your higher self. About to go and do push-ups, do sit-ups, go for a run, drink some water, go for a walk, make this video in nature, stay grounded. All these things connect me to my higher self. But if I was to be off of work or whatever and complain, drink my problems away, smoke a cigarette, go off and run off and do weed, do LSD, do perks, do heroin, go to the club, go to a strip club, waste money, sit on social media all day, watch movies all day, cook junk food or eat junk food, go to a fast food chain and start eating my problems away. These things don't help me get to my best self because I don't feel like my best self. I'm doing things that are a detriment to my life. But that to me, if I was not connected to that, then me doing lower ways of not being, then I would be being the less version of my betterment to where I can't get better now because I'm too comfortable being less than. All I know is less than material or less than energies. So what can I reside with when I connect with this energy right here? So when you align your spine, you got to understand that your thoughts, when you're able to ascend that energy, you're now able to send them and emit them off into the universe because you're once again a magnet. Don't forget, your consciousness enters the womb, but you're not in the flesh. So you have to magnetize the things that get you right back into a higher knowing of where your family's always been watching you in. And last but not least, any form of pain is truth miscommunicating between false light and darkest parts of the flesh. Because remember, any form, we cry because people left us through the phase of death. But that's the problem though. They're not going nowhere. When they leave this body, they're going to transmute their consciousness right back into a different awareness, into a different realm. They can't go anywhere. They're going to always find a different way of being aware again. But the thing is, though, they won't leave your connection. That's the problem. People are too afraid to stay connected to that source. So where is it at? This right here. People are afraid to connect with that because, for one, their organs aren't even living anymore. People have, think about this, people got liver damage, kidney damage. People got all these different things going on because they're killing themselves internally because they're sitting here eating stress. You eat cancer. And then you're mad when somebody tells you to fast or to eat fruit or eat vegetables. What do you think our people were eating before fast food became a real thing? What do you think we were eating before we decided to kill oxen and elephants and bison and horses and ducks and alligators and like what the hell did you think we was eating? Now some of these barbaric entities were eating meat and all that, but we were not aware of that because we were always conscious of the things being put into our meat suit or our vessel for us to transcend dimensions. That was the whole entire point of learning. We learned and do a higher awareness of our dimensional traveling and this basically this spacesuit right here, because you're in space right now. When you understand how to protect yourself from the outer realms, what space can't hold on to. They can't hold on to your mind outside of gravity, so they put gravity into your forefront to make it seem as if they can dent your mindset down, but you set your mind onto what you want to be because you're infinite. They can't stop an infinite being. They can't kill your infinity. That's exactly why when you know how infinite you've always been spiritually, how can they stop you from living physically? When you connect with this, the highest frequency that you would consider to be God, but you transmit your energy from doing lower ways that can't serve you. Any suffering we go through happens when the being in the suit forgets their observation. Don't forget what you're doing in this world because you're not in this world, but your thoughts are here. Your thoughts became physical because you wanted to play the game again. All you gotta do is cut the game off and observe what you thought you were playing because you're not playing anything but yourself. Have a great and divine day, Divine Reflection.